I'm using this video to highlight a section of the book Anxiety Cure: A Holistic Approach to Mental Health. The entire workbook is not about anxiety itself. It's anxiety, depression, breaking through to your best self, understanding the blood-brain barrier and how nutrition affects your mental health as well. But I wanted it to be a holistic view of mental health and how you can take control of your mental health. So this section, and I want you to look at how it's structured in my book, The Anxiety Cure. It talks about anxiety. It highlights that anxiety is not a personality. It even goes as far as pointing out a 2010 study by Stanford University. And what it highlights is anxiety is a transient emotion, not a personality. Because I don't think a lot of people understand what the word I am does, how it programs and conditions the brain and body, and we use it without care. We use it very carelessly. I want you to look at the layout of the book. I wanted to make it so that you didn't need any advanced degrees or anything like that, even visually, so that you can skim read. So it simplifies it. It's a companion book to a larger text that I'm developing. In this section, as you dive in, you'll see that the questions is really meant to help you understand how cognitive restructuring works and how to engage in it. You have to understand with anxiety, but any emotion, to shift it, first, there has to be an acknowledgement, right? So you want to identify first, bring the unconscious into the conscious, like Carl Jung talks about. So there's this portion of it. Here's the cycle of how a trigger to behavior works. So it's trigger, then thought. That thought triggers an emotion. That emotion triggers an action. There's always emotion behind the action, whether conscious or unconscious. So first, you want to understand the cycle or the trigger. It talks about this in the book Atomic Habits as well. But this is just standard psychology and understanding what these triggers are. You can replace the emotion. It doesn't have to be anxiety, but understanding what the trigger to the emotion is, just the start, the catalyst, the thing that gets it moving in that cycle. Because we want to essentially scratch the record or create a new pattern, but first we have to identify what the pattern is. After that, I go through a series of questions. It doesn't have to be completed at one time. You can do it throughout an entire week, throughout a day. It just depends on how much time you have. But what this book or this workbook calls for is you to actively participate in your own mental wellness. The first question is identify a person, event, whatever it is that triggered anxiety. Then next, what belief or thought surfaced? What am I saying? Pain is inevitable in life. Physical pain. Suffering is self-induced. Suffering is based on a belief system. So you want to identify, okay, what is it that I believe about this situation that's triggering this level of anxiety? Next is standard in cognitive restructuring, right? After we've identified the belief system behind it, we identify what the trigger is, the belief system behind it. Now we want to identify, okay, what evidence, what real tangible evidence supports it and what contradicts it. This belief, sometimes they call it an irrational belief. I'm just calling it a belief because you just want to identify it. Okay, what supports this? So people make blanket statements sometimes like, I'm a failure. Are you really afraid? Did you graduate high school? Are you living independently? Are you able to pay your rent? Are you in classes somewhere? Have you been able to hold any type of friendship? Do you have you been able to help others? Because success is a broad term. So we want to load the evidence, especially in the positive end. Okay, what evidence do I have that I can succeed? And I want you to look at the most minute things. I don't care if it's your ability to keep your home clean. Next, we want you to create a more empowering, realistic belief. Instead of, I fail at everything, find the things that you've been successful at, and I have the ability to succeed. I'm a hard worker. I'm creative. I'm resilient. I've been able to overcome this. I am an overcomer. Then it starts to trickle when you start to identify the little things, the little wins, the things you have done well at. This last question is important as we go into other sections of the book. And that question is really addressing what patterns of anxious thinking do you want to release? Because the more we can make these unconscious responses conscious, we able to scratch the record or change the feedback loop. But anyway, my purpose in this video is just to give you an overview of this book, because I know you might have seen my post where I'm giving away the book right now, and that's going to be for a limited time, because during this season I realized it can trigger anxiety, depression, sadness, all types of things in people. And now what I'm saying is the holiday season. It can be a lonely time for many people. It can be a very emotional time for many people. That's a part of why I'm doing this as well. But I wanted you to actually see what's included in the book. I'll do more of this in the future. As far as breaking down different sessions, it goes more in depth. But this beginning section of the book starts to give us the framework to dissect some of the belief systems that may be stopping you or creating limits or glass ceilings in your life. Blessings.